right now?
Here we go.
Okay, go ahead.
Watch out!
And everybody listen to what y'all can rock master. DJ who rich like a blaster, more better than the altar. I am prepared, still beneath the compare, but prepared with upgrade. When I am in here, I'm doing without no fear. And everybody listen to what y'all can rock master. DJ who rich like a blaster, more better than the altar. Let me away with the eager bit. I get my dear, but even care for the bit of running the rest of the weekend.
Hey, look at that song, look at that, hey, look at that song, look at that, hey.
Boom, 8 ball in the corner pocket. This is One Iam. You are listening to Urban Revolution on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. I am your host, and on my right hand is Miss Debbie.
Good afternoon, everybody, or should I say good evening. It's been a great day. It's been a great week. We on some positive affirmations today. So I want to start off today by saying congratulations to all the people that I know of that are graduating or have received some type of degree from a middle school, from kindergarten, elementary school, junior high school, high school, and college. I'd also like to say congratulations to Vladimir Holmes. Yeah, got that associate's degree.
Right.
Like to say congratulations to Dante Womack. Got that associate's degree. Yay!
Yeah.
We're just going to move this positive because I just want you to know that not all men are bad men. And there are people out there that are still moving and shaking and doing positive things at this point in their lives.
Amen. Amen. I'm glad you mentioned that, all of that. This is Urban Revolution on Revolution Radio, listener-supported radio. We do appreciate it when you hit that donate button and give a couple dollars to keep us on the air or sponsor a show. Sponsor this show, as a matter of fact. Urban Revolutions. It's a good show. Earlier today, I was on Facebook talking to one of my Facebook friends, and he said that he would come on tonight and give me an update on what he's been doing, what's been happening in his life. He was a big part of Revolution Radio at one time. We're talking about the master of many things, Kevin Allan. Said he would be on about 8-ish, right around in there. I've been looking on the, in my friends here to see if he's on Skype at all, where I could drag him in, but it doesn't look like he appears to be on Skype, and maybe he'll be calling in pretty soon. I don't know, but let me try to drag him in and see what happens. Anything happens at all. It just says the call failed. Call failed. Kevin Allan. Let me try it again. Call failed again. Okay, I don't know what's up with that, but we'll keep him in mind. Maybe he'll just call in the call-in number. The call-in number is 347-688-2902. That's the call-in number here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. 347-688-2902. You can call me. You can hit up Miss Debbie. Whatever you want to do. Talk about it, whatever. Just call us up and hit us up. Today we don't have any particular topic that we want to cover.
Well, I just got to do another commercial. All of you out there that in Detroit land, tomorrow night it's going down. There is a There is a re-election party for Benny Napoleon. It's a skating party for adults over 18. Can y'all skate?
Really?
Tickets are $10. Skate rentals are $2. You know, you can go ahead and check it out. It's going to be at Northland Roller Rink. It's a re-election party for Benny Napoleon, one of my good friends.
Is Benny Napoleon worthy of being reelected?
Well, you know, Benny Napoleon is a good guy.
I'm just asking. I don't know.
He's a good guy. But, you know, we've had an interesting week because we've met a lot of candidates that are running for different things this week as well.
You say he's a good guy?
Yeah, he's a good guy.
I know he made some comments about the sheriff. Not the sheriff, but the Wayne County executive, Ficano, not actually giving him the money that he needs to fund his sheriff's department.
Well, that's because Ficano want to keep it for himself.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of every string of corruption, there's always a Caucasian man.
Well, you know, Sheriff Ficano has some issues and some problems that he's facing with the FBI looking over his department and everything. And
Right.
I guess they found corruption in several places, but they haven't directly charged or pointed the finger at Sheriff Ficano. Although, you know, all the people that are getting around him and everything, and close associates and everything, appointees of Ficano's.
Right.
So it's like, you know, the buck kind of stops at Ficano's desk. Like he hasn't been watching situations and programs and et cetera. And the kind of money that he's wasting and paying people and everything. A lot of people are just asking him to leave. Sheriff Wayne County Executive Ficano. Just asking him to get out of office, leave. You know, he's not worthy of being there, you know, and representing people and et cetera, because he can't even watch his own people and spend money properly. He's wasting a lot of money, you know, on severance packages and everything for people that are leaving. So, and then he's got that $500 million jail being built right in front of the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice.
Right.
And while you already got a jail sitting over on Ryan Road that's empty.
Right.
So, you know, I don't know what's going on with that guy. But I wish the FBI would go ahead and just, you know, break this thing down and stop making him suffer.
Well, you know what? Let me say this. The FBI only really like to bring down the little guys. They don't never go get the big guys. Because let me explain this to you. People talk about Detroit and say, well, you know, it's all these little black corrupted people. But let me explain this to you. There's a bigger picture to the little black people who are taking $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. What about the hand that's feeding it to them?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about the hand that feeds it to them?
Yeah. Well, you know, one of the guys was that did a lot of the payouts and everything. His name was like Carl Cadeau or something like that.
Yeah.
And basically, after everybody got sentenced and sent to jail for taking money from this guy, he got put on probation and everything.
Right.
And walked away, you know, like scot-free.
Right.
Which pretty much tells you or tells me that the guy was deep cover.
Right.
You know, and basically he was taking government money in the first place.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So, you know, they have to watch themselves because, you know, the whole Western world runs on kickbacks and under the table deals, campaign finance money with lobbyists and different things like that.
Right.
You know, it's all under the table, and you know, and a lot of it, you know, is corrupt. As you seen Blago in Chicago tried to sell Barack Obama's Senate seat, and then Jesse Jackson Jr., he was in the middle of it trying to buy it, and so was Obama. Obama was trying to buy it too. He was working through Rahm Emanuel, who had called Blago like 100 times about that seat.
Yeah.
You know, negotiating that seat. Okay? So they finally just decided to lock Blago up and forget about the seat. You feel me? But I'm just saying, look, it's a dirty game, you know?
Right.
And, yeah, you got politicians in Detroit, you know, that got elected. And they said, well, yeah, I'm going to take some money too, or we're going to operate the way things operate in the United States, you know, and in the Western world. But you got to remember that prosecution is selective, okay? They decide who they want to prosecute about taking $500 or, you know, taking $5,000 or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a selective process, you know, and the FBI works for who they work for, okay? So, you know, if you're not paying them and et cetera, and they're not working for you, they're not getting that kickback, you know? Yeah, you know, they'll toss you up like a French whore. You feel me?
Yeah, you know, I wonder if I'm going to get caught up in that when I start running for all my political offices now that I'm on the board around here.
I don't know. I see you moving up, though. You know, sooner or later, somebody going to come to you with a handful of money.
I'm going to be like, just slide it under the door.
You know.
I'm just joking. For anybody that lives in my neighborhood, I'm just joking. I'm not going to take no bribes. I'm out here to represent the people. I'm out here to get some things done. I want to be with the movers and shakers in the right way to make sure I'm shaking some good, positive stuff up in my neighborhood.
Wink, wink.
No, I'm serious. Anybody that lives in my neighborhood, I solemnly swear that I'm going to uphold my seat to the best of my ability here.
Okay.
No bribes, no fun, no.
I feel you on that.
I just want to represent the people and get some positive stuff going on because I'm so tired of people ragging on Detroit that I don't know what to do. Detroit got a lot of positive things going on.
A lot of positive things.
A lot of positive things. It's just that people don't pick up on the positive.
But
they
check
always pick up
this
on
out.
the
I'm gonna
negative.
give you a reason. I'm gonna give you a reason why people don't pick up on the positive things in Detroit. And this story here, I just picked this off the paper today, okay? Just a few minutes ago, about Detroit. Right here, Detroit racks up 8 killings and 33 shootings in the last 5 days.
Here you come, doom and gloom.
It ain't really the doom and gloom. It's the facts. Okay, this is a fact. We can't ignore something like this. I'm talking about 8 killings and 33 shootings in the last 5 days.
Okay, but I'm saying, okay, let me ask you this. Have you ever thought about pulling up another city to see what's going on? Because you know what?
You think 33 people got shot somewhere else? What, in Afghanistan?
No, I'm just saying, have you ever thought about comparing other cities around?
What other city could you compare with 33 shootings?
Because
in 5 days.
First of all, let me explain this to you. This right here, this rag right here, and the Free Press, they are so impartial.
That's the Detroit News.
I know, and they are so impartial that they're not going to report nothing that happens out in West Bloomfield and all these other places.
They just reported.
They have a crime out there. They have a crime. I've heard about a lot of crime.
They just reported a grandmother that shot her grandson out there in West Bloomfield.
But they choose isolated stories to report out there.
I would say to Dr. Fleming and Sharice that, that's something that happened out there where you live at. You know, a grandmother shot her grandson. You know, that's like crime in West Bloomfield. So...
Then there was a shooting not too long ago out in Plymouth. There was a shooting not too long ago out in Livonia. I'm just saying. But you know what the thing is they don't rag on those stories for long. You hear it today, and you don't hear it tomorrow. But in Detroit, you're going to hear it every 15 minutes because they've just...
It's not about you going to hear it every 15 minutes. These numbers are staggering. Okay? 8 killings and 33 shootings in the last 5 days. Okay? And me and you are walking around Detroit every day like, hi, how you doing, everybody? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, how long can this go on before pretty soon one of us is a victim of a shooting? You know, with these kinds of numbers.
Well, I guess maybe, like I said, I'm just tired of people doing the doom and gloom stories because the news to portray it as doom and gloom all day long, like there's no other doom and gloom going on.
Well, let me hit this story a little bit right here. Detroit. Even in one of the most violent cities in the United States, the past 5 days have been abnormally bloody. There have been 8 homicides and 33 non-fatal shootings in Detroit over the past 5 days. The Detroit police chief, Ralph Godby, acknowledged today that those numbers are higher than normal. those numbers are higher than normal. That's what he said. Oh, those are higher than normal. Well, what's normal? Like 25 shootings? You know what I'm saying? What's going on? With crime dominating the local headlines and budget cuts looming, the Detroit City Council President Pro Tem Gary Brown, a former police officer, is suggesting restructuring the city's police department. Yeah, okay, I'm all for restructuring the police department, but they're talking about cutting like $75 million away from the police department right now as it stands.
Well, my solution to that situation is stop building this massive police station with all these millions and billions of dollars and go out there and put that money to use. You don't need no police station that got swimming pools, golf courses, tennis courts, basketball rims. Niggas, get out there, do your job. Do your job. Go to the street. Stay down there at 1300 Bobian because that's the only place that you really belong. I'm sorry. Enough people need to complain about that. That's too much money being spent on that when it can be put on police officers on our city streets. But you sitting up in here and everybody wants to go, well, what? Speak out it. Speak on it. If you feel like crime is high, go down there and protest them putting all that money into a place that they really don't need.
Well, the listeners don't know that. Let me tell you, Detroit they are renovating this building for a new police headquarters. It used to be the MGM Grand Casino, So now they're taking the casino, the old casino, and they're renovating the building, redoing it, I guess putting in all the wiring necessary, etc. They putting in a gym, a swimming pool, whatever else they say they was going to put in for the cops. I guess they're going to leave the plush casino carpet on the floor. You think?
I'd probably leave some slot machines up in there too.
And leave a couple of slots for the fellas to play with. You know what I'm saying? Before that'll be before 4 o'clock, because after 4 o'clock they close the place down, so that it's just virtual then. You just have to call in until the next morning, and somebody will be back in there to play the slots again, I guess. I don't know what's going on, but they spending like millions and millions of dollars buying this building and renovating it for a new headquarters, okay? As if something different is going to happen once they get into the new headquarters, Do you think that's going to make things better or something, Debbie? If they get into a new headquarters and maybe some of the crime will go down and the shootings and all this other thing?
Well, no. I mean, really, you're just going to have a bunch of cops sitting around playing tennis, going swimming, and still don't care about this city that they live in. Really.
You just said it.
You know what?
Half of them don't live here, number one.
Well, right. And that's my whole point. I wish I could roll back the time and put that requirement for them to have to live in the city of Detroit to hold these jobs down. Because guess what? You put a bunch of people up in the city that don't care about the city. Do you really think that they're going to best serve the city? No, they're here just to collect money.
Yeah.
It's like, I got a choice of going over here stopping this crime, or I'm going to stop this man that just ran the red light. Which one do you really think that they're going to do? They're going to stop this man over here that just ran the red light and give him a ticket and act like that other part didn't even happen.
Yeah.
So I feel like this. I feel like all police officers, firemen, all of them should have to live in the city of which they defend.
You think?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I can agree with that.
Because let me tell you something. If you really lived in the city, then you would think twice about defending your city. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you live on the outside of the city, you can always find what's wrong with on the inside of the city, and you ain't going to try to correct it, because guess what?
Well, if you actually lived here and you had family here that was growing up and everything, and you were invested in city life and everything, then naturally, you would care more, about the place, and it wouldn't be so much them against us type thing.
Right. You would say you wouldn't say, well, I'm not going to go over there because I ain't going to risk my life. But you be saying, oh, my daughter might never, my daughter might have to walk and run up against this fool.
The cops come in today and they be like, like it's a jungle out there. You know what I'm saying? And they talk about this place, where they work, like it's some kind of a jungle and some kind of a theater where they come in to do damage and then go back home and take a break and a breather and everything and to unwind, so they can come back into the jungle again the next day. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, if we could just break that mentality from some of the police officers and this, that, and the other. And I think having a residency requirement would help.
Right, it would. Well, as long, crime was really down as long as they had a residency requirement. And these cops actually got out there and they banged some heads. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, you know what?
Now they don't want to bang no heads.
I'm gonna read a little bit more of this. I'm going to tell you what the chief had to say about it. And Gary Brown also, which is a Detroit City Council
before you
person.
go there, Just in Time posted that Los Angeles freeway shooting, alarming trend, 65 people. So it's not just Detroit. They got 65.
No, I see 65 there, but roll that up and read it down a little bit more. Scroll that down and read it. Okay. What is it saying? The trend is occurring with an alarming. Give me a number.
I'm trying to read it real fast.
Okay. Well, when you find a number, let me know.
They're saying that theirs is related to gangs, and that's what it is. A lot of gang killing.
All of this stuff, let me tell you, all of this stuff is related to the amount of heat that has been turned up on the urban areas by economic conditions. When the bankers ripped us off and everything, by people leaving the cities and et cetera, and busting the tax base, and the corporations cutting back on employment and different things like this. All of this crime and et cetera is a result of that, and a lot of people say, well, you can't say that crime is up because of the economic conditions, this, that, and the other, and then they speak of another time when the crime wasn't up, okay? But we've been worked on. We've been worked on for a long time, for generations. We've been worked on with bad music. We've been worked on with poor education and all kinds of things for generations, okay? And now you got ignorant people out here, uneducated, and in tight situations and desperate conditions, okay?
Well, yeah, it's like the governor strategically placed the city of Detroit into a.
The governor is holding the Department of Human
money,
the
man.
Department of Human Services money, where you help people who are in need. They're holding that federal money, saying they're not going to give it to the city of Detroit because they don't believe the city of Detroit can handle it properly, and they're going through a court battle, trying to decide whether or not the city of Detroit is even going to have a human services department. Okay. Then there's another 200 and some odd million in state sharing funds that the governor owes the city of Detroit that he never gave them, never talked about giving to Detroit because he held that money in order to squeeze them into a consent agreement. Okay?
No, he put it into Autism Speaks.
What is that?
Huh? That's what he invested a lot of money into. Autism Speaks. But the problem is our kids suffer from sickle cell and all this other stuff. Autism affects a lot. Unfortunately, it don't affect a lot of black people, but it affects white people, unfortunately. I'm sorry to say that.
Okay.
But they got the Autism Speaks. Oh man, if you just go back and read how much money he sank into the Autism Speaks and all this other stuff, man.
Okay. Well,
it's just like crazy.
People take care of their own. But the thing is, the governor should see everybody in the state of Michigan as his own. Detroit is not an island that's separate from the rest of Michigan, where you're just going to, take over Detroit or whatever and put an emergency manager in and do whatever you want to with the buildings and the infrastructure. While basically you just push the people out, with your urban renewal and Negro removal processes. Okay? It's time to put that idea away. And with the number of people that are being shot and killed and the crime rate in these cities being what it is, I don't know why these people haven't cut back on the military budget federally and grabbed $100 million or $300 or $400 million and actually applied some money to the problem, to the situation. Okay,
because they care more about the people in Afghanistan than they care about the people in the U.S.
Okay, as far as employing people, as far as giving people educational opportunities and etc., you know, and opening up some doors for people, as far as helping people out, DTE is cutting people off left and right. That's the energy company here, as far as your lights and your gas and etc., and leaving people in desperate shape with no gas, no lights or anything going on, you know. Not to mention the city itself, you know, it's got a whole bunch of lights that aren't working. But I'm just saying, why don't they cut that military budget, you know, just a little bit, just not a whole lot, you know, just a few billion, and apply that money to the situation in the cities to stop the killings and etc., and to put some good programs in, to open up some recreation centers and etc. They're closing the rec centers and stuff around here, or they're underfunded, you know. No after school programs, no nothing going on, you know. People just out here. The only thing happening is reefer and cocaine or whatever. If you can find any of it and sell any of it, you feel me? So, you know, that's my suggestion, because what everybody else is suggesting, that you get more police, you know, obviously that's not going to happen when they're talking about cutting money from the police department, $75 million more from the police department. Okay, and that's, you know, crime is not going to stop with the heat being turned up the way it's been turned up. As Chief Godby said, the minute they arrest somebody, somebody else does a crime, you know, and it's going to keep happening like that because it's tight, okay? And people are making desperation moves, and you can't lock everybody up, you know, and you don't have a big enough lid to put on this pot, because you can hold crime down if you put a big lid on the pot, you know, when the pot is boiling over and people are jumping out into the fire and everything like that. Then if you can put a whole bunch of, like, the National Guard and everybody else in, then yeah, you can hold it down. But if you study cutting back on the police force and you know, cutting investigative units and everything, and closing stations during the day and moving 911 calls, you know, you prioritizing 911 calls, like, we ain't going for this one, but we'll go for that one. We ain't for this one. You know what I'm saying? You don't have the money to put a lid on this crime, okay? And the answer, you know, is not the lid in the first place, because the lid only increases the prison population. Okay, that's all it does. And then with the prison population being what it is, you got an open door there. You know, with people staying for a while and coming back to do what? With the heat like it is in Detroit City, to do what they were doing before they went in. You feel me? Because you really can't get a job now that you got a record, and et cetera. Okay? So the answer to the problem is to apply some money to this situation, not just in Detroit, but in Los Angeles, you know, in Washington, D.C., in St. Louis, in Baltimore, you know, all across this nation, in the ATL, Atlanta. You need to apply money to this situation. You need to act just like the people dying and the children and stuff going to prison and et cetera, in the numbers that they're going. Just close your eyes and pretend that they're all white, okay? They're all white. and that everything is reversed, and that the black children are going to college and getting out and entering the workforce and etc. And all the prison people are white, okay, and 33 and 40 white people are shot in the city every weekend, okay, and 8 and 9 white people are dying in 5 days, okay, in these cities, and this is happening every week, okay. When people look at it like that, it'll become a problem, okay, and then some real money will be applied to the situation. But until then, nothing's going to happen, because our leaders, they think that this situation right here, where everything's all messed up and Negroes is killing each other and nobody's getting educated like they should, they think it works for the greater society. They believe that these kinds of numbers will keep the status quo what it is, okay? And maybe it will, but we should be beyond trying to keep the status quo what it is and trying to keep somebody on top of the game. And we all in this together, okay? And all this social engineering that's going on and ghetto building needs to stop, and some real money applied to this situation. Now, I would be interested in hearing what Dr. Alonzo Fleming has to say about this situation, and Sharice, because they do the Detroit Front and Center show, and they have a whole different opinion than mine. Black folks too, just like me, but they think differently and they have a whole different opinion. And last week, I guess during his show, I questioned his doctorate credentials and made some comments that he might not have liked in the chat room. And we're not Facebook friends anymore as a result of that. Not because I clicked him off, but because he clicked me off. So I don't know what he's thinking now and or what he's saying or whatever. But I'm sure he's still posting about the situation in Detroit, even though he doesn't live in Detroit. Okay. But I'd be interested to find out what he thinks about that and some other things. But Gary Brown, he says the crime affecting our neighborhoods is fixable. This is Gary Brown as a city councilman. He's like the city councilman pro tem.
He used to be on the police force.
Yeah, he used to be on the police force. He got fired off the police force. I guess it was an illegal firing, unfair and unjust. They sued the city of Detroit, Gary Brown and his partner or whatever, in the police department or whatever, and got a bunch of money as a result. And I think he retired after that. Well, he never came back, after receiving that big chunk of money, but he went for the city council and he won. So, Brown, a former deputy chief in the department, said downtown Detroit is the safest area of any part of the region per capita, according to FBI crime data. Beyond this point, the crime rate in downtown Detroit is 37% less than the national average. Okay. I got a call coming in just a minute. Hello?
One Iam.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, wow. It sounds like a war zone in your city.
Yeah, it is a war zone in the city. Shootings are going on, man. Killings, shootings, murders, you name it, man. Everybody's getting a CPL, a concealed pistol license now, because the police aren't able to cover things like they should. So,
man, why don't you move? I would move.
It's not
Why
time.
you gonna move?
It's
Where
not time to run, man.
Where you gonna go? Let me ask you this.
Now is the time to run to Detroit, not from it.
let me ask you this, because I'm a firm believer that what's for you is for you, and you can't change it. So where you gonna run?
Well, I already did my running. I'm where I want to be.
Well, I'm just saying that now is not the time to run from Detroit. Now is the time to run to Detroit. If you truly love the city of Detroit and you see the shape that it's in, you know, you don't pack up and move out, you know, with your education and this, that, and the other. You stay right here and you apply what you have learned to this situation.
Right, but this is the problem. One Iam is it's like when you play chess, and I'm sure you know how to play chess.
Yes.
It gets to the point to where there might only be a couple pieces off the board, but you can take a look and you can say, you know, that this guy's going to win. I mean, you just resign.
Yeah, that's when people resign at that point.
You know what? I'm sorry, I can't say that.
But I'm looking at the board and I'm not ready to resign. Nope, I'm not ready to resign. Not only Detroit, I was born and raised here. You know.
Well, the only way you can
City and the people in Detroit City, and I'm not ready to run.
Well, then you got to fight, and that means you got to get a hold of the political steering wheel. You got to get involved in that. That's the only way. But it looks like it's a done deal to me. The money's cutting off. The corruption's eating it up. There's some places I came across. There's a place in Atlanta. But there's no hope. No hope. I could never understood why people.
Well, you know what? Let me say this, Hijacker. Maybe this is what you don't understand. What's going on right here in the city of Detroit, first of all, is about regentrification, first of all they're trying to do is change the people. Once they change the people and put them out there on the other side of 8 Mile.
That's what the heat is all about. That's why the heat's been turned up.
That's why they them not putting no money in here. That's why they not investing. That's why they don't care about no cops. They want everybody. Let me explain this to you.
They are investing.
Hold on. Let me say this, because me and my two girlfriends were talking about this last night. We went out to Farmington Hills to drop one of my girlfriends off that was here from Chicago. You go to Farmington Hills, you go to West Bloomfield. Let me tell you this. They don't even have real houses, okay? They got all these prefab houses with the nice brick front, but you go in there and hit a wall, and your hand gonna go right through it. These houses in Detroit are substance. They're made out of real brick, real plaster, everything that's real. You understand what I'm saying? So they're prime.
Oh, I know. You're talking about the brownstone in the houses. I grew up in D.C. I know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about the homes in Detroit. All the Detroit homes just about are very few prefab houses in the city of Detroit. They're all 100% brick. They're
right, and they're
concrete basements. They all have a lot of them have 3-4 floors in them. You understand what I'm saying? So these
right. No, I know in Buffalo.
The homes in here in Detroit are of value. I don't care what side of town it is. So what they want to do is they want to make sure that all the people that they don't feel is necessarily valued in this area get out of Detroit, and then they can do it. Let me tell you why they say downtown is so safe. They got the police department. They got Wayne State. They got the school board. They got several police. You can't even pull up in the middle, in Midtown, and park your car in an alley without one of these different police departments pulling up on you. And they got 24-hour surveillance. And let me tell you, it is heavily guarded down there. You know why? Because the regentrification has already started, and the white folks is there, baby, and they protected them like 90 going north. So anything past that, until it gets predominantly white, it's not going to get the same attention. Because they want us out. They want to do the same thing that they did in Baltimore. The push is on to get us out of these good houses. Because this land that we are living on is prime property.
The push is on. It's in D.C. the same way. They said that D.C. is no longer majority black. Washington.
Oh no, I know all about D.C. I remember when it started, and the lawyers, and they started taking block by block. And all of a sudden, all these professionals move in, and some of these houses were only worth $25,000, $30,000. Yeah. But as soon as that one block would fall, those houses would go up to $500,000. It's incredible. I'm like, yeah. Well, but anyways, I called. The reason why I really did call was you said you were going to have Kevin Allan on.
Yeah, Kevin Allan told me that he would call in about 8 o'clock, around 8-ish, and talk to me about what he's been doing and what's been going on in his life. You know, I thought I'd speak to him a little bit because, you know, he was a big part of Revolution Radio in the beginning here. Powerful voice for the station. And
right, that's the whole thing. And then he broke off on his own, and he just didn't calculate synergism. So does he still have a radio program?
I think Human Being Broadcasting was his radio station. I believe he dropped it. He dropped it.
Yeah, see, he doesn't understand the glory of what Nighthawk has done is he's used synergism. That's why it's several different flavors. If you think about, for instance, you and
Go ahead and call me Barbara.
No, Debbie's program. Daggone it. See, it gets in that groove. You and Debbie's program, and then you got people all the way. You got Eli way out there. Now I'm the one, and I'm way out there. I already know that.
Yeah.
So you got all these different, but it makes up, that synergistic model makes up the successful formula. So I don't know why he, marched out there. It was like, okay, march out in the desert. You're going to die. You need people in the radio business.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more Nighthawk than anything as far as keeping this radio station together and keeping it going. I think he is a major brain behind this thing. It could have failed 100 different ways, okay, if it wasn't for Nighthawk. Just from
he understood the business. Yeah, no question about it.
He understands the business. He understands what he's doing. He understands. So many people have left here, okay, that I thought would be here forever. Kevin Allan, Tim Dolger. I mean, you know what I'm saying, man? I mean, but Nighthawk keeps plugging on. One monkey don't stop no show, and that's what he's living by. And I just see him as the main. I bet you if Nighthawk were to go down, the station would probably follow him.
Oh yeah, no question about it. I mean, he's it's an expensive hobby for him. I mean, I'd like to see it start to pay for itself. I mean, it's got to hurt him month after month. He's got to pay money, so it's
yeah,
But no, I just was asking about Kevin Allan to see if he was still on the air, and I predicted. Me and Crow talked a little bit about what his chances were, and I was just thinking that he wasn't going to make it. Crow knew.
Yeah.
He says, "There's no way." So
you know what? It's not easy. I tried it myself. I couldn't even get people to sign on to do a show, on a regular basis, to commit to doing a show. I tried it myself. I see that Donna Devane is still got Awaken Radio up and going, and she's doing a fantastic job, keeping Awaken Radio going. But it's not an easy thing to do.
No, it's not. Yeah, so that's why I just called in. But I mean, I just think, well, you're going to stand and fight, One Iam and Debbie. So, that's.
I'm already fighting.
Yeah, we paying high taxes, high insurance, everything, man. Everything's high. Food prices, everything, man. But it's just not time to run. This is the time to run into the Detroit city and bring your money, pay some property taxes, help get this city back on its feet. Anybody who loves Detroit City and cares about it, and help the people in Detroit City. These violent youth and etc. They need help. They just, I don't know if you heard about it, but it was national news where they carjacked the Reverend Winan, which is a national figure here in Detroit City, and he went over on Dexter and Davison, which was a bad area of Detroit City. The per capita income is probably very low over there. And he went over there with a Rolex watch on and a purple Infiniti truck that he had leased, and went to buy $40 worth of gas out of the gas station. Okay, and they looked at him like a piece of meat, that somebody had dropped into the shark pool.
Yeah, well, you know what? Right. When I escaped South Carolina, I went home as Babylonian slave and jumping his rails, getting out of there to work in Atlanta. I was working with this guy. We were going around picking pallets up and repairing them, and then you get like $4 a pallet. But he was from Detroit, and he told me that in the middle of the night you could hear gunshots going off.
Oh yeah, that's on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's what he said.
It's Ohio, and I heard gunshots going off. So I mean, that ain't nothing to say. I mean,
gunshots going off in an urban area is pretty typical in most of the urban areas that I've lived in. been around. As a matter of fact, a lot of times, other people, when you hear a gunshot, you take out your own gun and you answer it, by shooting in the air yourself.
Oh my God! Oh boy!
Hey,
I hope people don't start that.
That's just protocol. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that got to be a fad, man. Where I'm out in the country, good Lord, that would.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's not all bad. I'm looking at different things because different communities are starting to step up and do different things, man, to combat this crime. Because first of all, let me tell you this: the government has taken the money out of all the inner cities because they want to change the way it looks. Okay, one.
That was the key. That's key, Debbie. You said all the cities
that we live in used to be predominantly white. You couldn't even drive down this street. Okay.
Right.
Back in the day, and I lived 3 streets over from it back when I was a child, and I wasn't really if I wanted to go to the library, I couldn't hardly even walk through here. You understand what I'm saying? So this is what they're trying to do, is just change it the hands of time back to that time.
Well,
but right now, it's a lot of positive programs, because I'm not going to sit here and just keep bashing Detroit, because that's not one of my passions.
Well, the government's taking the money out of all the cities and all the infrastructure, right. So that's got to tell you it's not about gentrification. They know something that you don't know. I mean, they ripped off all the money.
Gentrification. They want to turn it around. I'm telling you. I'm sorry. That is why I actually ran for a seat on the board over here, so I can actually have a word, so I can be a voice for the people. Because unfortunately, don't nobody really care about the people and what the people want to know, and I do. And I want to see things change, and I want to see things change for the right way, not for the bad way.
Well, just be careful, Debbie, because sooner or later that bag of money is going to come your way. They're going to tempt you.
And if the money comes my way, I still won't take it. I don't need it like that. I need people to actually be here. I need to take control for senior citizens. I need to take control for the children. I need to take control for people who just love the city of Detroit. And unfortunately, I love the city of Detroit, so I'm not going to continue.
Well, Debbie, just take the money for the orphans. Give the money away. You don't got to keep it. Just give it away.
Oh. Let me explain this. Exactly. Well, first of all, let me say this. You're listening to Urban Revolution on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. Listener-supported radio. So please hit the donate button and donate what you can. I appreciate it. Let me say something about Detroit City and what's going on right now. First of all, the suburbs were built up by white flight and et cetera, getting out of the city over decades. Okay, that's how the suburbs were built up. White folks leaving, and the banks and everything followed them. And they built nice homes. They built buildings and whole townships, and they built little cities and communities and everything. And
they did it all over the country, yeah.
Shops,
right.
Stores, and they coming away from the cities. Okay, now that you got it saturated out there with these communities and et cetera, and there's nowhere else to build and this, that, and the other. Now the banks and everything are coming back this way to make more money. You understand what I'm saying? And they want to bring the people who have the jobs and et cetera with them, to make money. And that's what they're doing,
But this is One Iam. The problem is that Detroit, where's the economic base? Where's the jobs? Where's the manufacturing? You got nothing. You can see it. It's like an island that's running out of coconuts or something. I'd get the hell out of there.
That's not
I'm telling you.
I think maybe the government,
Well, I just got my One Iam, Debbie. I just got my chain pulled. I got my crew coming in, and I got to start quarterbacking. So I just thought I'd jump in for a minute.
Okay.
So,
chat room.
Right. Okay. Take care.
All right.
Well, Hijacker, I just want to say that that's not true. There are, every day I get an email with at least 20 jobs on it from somebody I know that's out here in the workforce, or people that work in agencies and things like that. It just might not be what you want to do, but I do get those emails. And there are people out here getting jobs every day. There are a lot of people getting jobs here. Unfortunately, the economic base is still low, but there are a lot of people getting jobs, and there are a lot of people who are thinking of ways to actually move this city forward. So I don't understand why people feel like we should just dump our city because it's whatever. And if you come to Detroit, really, I'd like to take you to some places, really, that you wouldn't even realize are in Detroit, because they're fantastic. They're fabulous. They're fabulous people. Right where we live at, there are a lot of fabulous people here. You understand what I'm saying? There are a lot of fabulous people in other areas. There are things that are going on that people don't even talk about that are good, like the Grandmount subdivision. They've actually paired with the police, and they're coming up with a new policing type of thing that they're going to introduce to other historic districts here in the city of Detroit. So it's a lot of things that people just don't know about, and all they sit up and concentrate on. They don't read that little good article, because that little good article that they put in the Detroit News is racked up against an article that's J big, so that everybody can read this with the big bold light. But the writer article that they need to be reading is the article that's always in the small print that has the good stuff that tells you what's going on, like the free concerts, like the free handing out of school supplies for kids, like the free lunch programs that are going on during the summer,
You know what?
and all these good things. You understand?
That's all well and
It's
good,
overshadowed by what they write in the paper.
That's all well and good, but when you actually have 8 killings and 33 shootings in 5 days, that kind of like puts a real cloud over anything.
Well, what kind of killings were they?
That's happening good.
What kind of killings? Were they just random?
Shootings, just
They
people
were just
shooting
random?
each other for different things. They're arguing over different things. There's
Man,
disputes over this, that, and the
that's
other.
some dumb shit. Excuse me.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I'm not concerned with no dumb stuff. I'm just concerned with a killing. To me, is an innocent person getting killed, not two bird brains
I'm
out
sure
here
some
shooting
innocent
over
people-
juju.
I'm sure some innocent people have been killed and shot
I'm just saying,
in this
I
33
don't want to
shootings.
hear about no two people out here, because my drug turf war, my drug turf is better than your drug turf, so I'm going to take over it. Or we're fighting over cell phones, or we're fighting because you spoke to my girlfriend the wrong way. I want to hear some legitimate stuff. I don't want to hear that all those stuff that the Detroit News put out there, because they portray this whole situation to make these people leave. They don't sit up and write no good stories.
Yeah, well, you just mentioned a few good stories and good
I
things.
mean, we
that's
called
happening.
them. Let me tell you this. Let me show you this. We were doing that cleanup a couple of weeks ago over on Claremont and the Lodge.
Right.
We called them and said, "Oh, it's some people over here doing good in the hood. We got some people. That have been dumping stuff, and we just want to see if we can put this out here to people out here to get somebody to come over here and help us clean up this building from all these tires and stuff that was dumped in there." They said, "Well, let's give me your telephone number, and we'll call you back if we need a story." It was a good human interest story, but they didn't want that. But had I said that Johnny got shot in the butt for fighting with Caroline, they'd have been on it.
Yeah, but still, it's the fact that Johnny got shot in the butt.
But they was
Okay,
cleaning
this
up
is
the
what I'm
neighborhood,
saying.
a neighborhood that's
Debbie,
overran.
8 killings, 33 shootings in 5 days.
Well, I'm just saying you're starting to remind me of the Fleming people, because here you go bashing Detroit.
I'm not just bashing Detroit. I'm saying this, that we got some serious issues that need to be addressed.
And we know that. And if you don't got a solution for how Juju not gonna shoot Judy in the booty,
My solution is that we should take some federal money, right, away from the Defense Department, billions, okay, and apply that to these cities in employment, in educational opportunities, in recreation, in hiring counselors, psychiatrists and doctors or whatever you need. Okay, apply that to the people, okay, and reduce the kinds of crime. Uplift the heat, take the heat off of people. Give them something to eat. I'm not saying give per se, but like they won't work and all this kind of a thing. But when people need help, where's the social safety net necessary to keep this kind of crime from rising? You feel me? It's not here. And when you look at this situation, like I said, it was created by white flight and the people taking off and the banks and everything leaving with them, and the businesses and everything leaving, corporations. Stroll's gone, Wonder Bread gone, Verner's gone, Park Davis gone. And I could go on and on and on about everything that's left Detroit City. Even the Free Press and the Detroit News has left Detroit City, and they're off somewhere else too. And they still got the Detroit News on their label, You know what I'm saying? And all of this kind of a thing. But, this situation was created. Okay. Blacks and everything here, we've had political power. You see what I'm saying? We've been able to vote people in, this, that, and the other, but we haven't had the economic muscle. Never have we had the economic muscle. And as far as, the city being turned over to the politicians, like, now they've got the money has always been dwindling with people steadily leaving from the flight out of Detroit City. And then these people in these big homes that you mentioned and everything, it takes a monumental amount of money. You got a 7-bedroom house with 3 and 4 bathrooms in it, all brick, leaded glass windows, hardwood floors, clay roofs, clay tiles and everything. I mean, these homes were put up by moguls, okay? And the average guy that's making $30,000 a year can't handle it. Not to mention the ones that don't make anything at all in the city of Detroit.
Then they shouldn't move there.
Okay? And then you got these big tax bills. I mean, you got the highest tax rate in the state of Michigan. It might be the highest tax rate in the country, not to mention the insurance rates and everything else. I mean, this is a horrible beat down. And yeah, they've taken Detroit City downtown and turned it into a safe area. This is where you have the sports district. You have the Comerica Park, Ford Field. Illich has his Fox Theater and other things going on down there in the same area. Okay, and that's where the people's police force is. Okay, watching the property and et cetera of rich folks. And making sure that the suburbanites that come in don't have any problems when they're spending their money for rich folks to get it in their pockets when they're selling $5 slices of pizza and $6 Cokes, at the stadium. You feel me? And the police forces and et cetera, and the crime and everything that's going on in the areas where they've pushed back the people, they just don't have enough manpower to cover everything.
They got enough. If they would stop patrolling downtown Detroit, they got enough. If they would stop patrolling downtown,
yeah.
You go ride from get on Jefferson from the beginning of Jefferson and ride it to the other side of Belle Isle and see what happened. They got enough cops on Jefferson to protect the people that's rolling in from Grosse Pointe going to the casino. Then you go from where we live downtown, and they got patrolling the streets there to keep all those people that's living there safe.
I have rolled down Jefferson and counted 20 police cars.
Right. So if they put 10, if they put 5 down there and put 15, that's 15 in the community.
20 police cars, and they all pulling over youngsters, young black people going up and down Jefferson from Belle Isle to downtown Detroit, and basically harassing them and keeping them off of Jefferson so that people from Grosse Pointe and different places like that will feel safe and comfortable and come down to Detroit City and spend their money in the casinos and at the sports arenas and etc. Okay? This is just the way the game is played. Okay? And I'm just saying, why does it have to be played this way? Why can't urban renewal include the people that are already here? Okay? Which means, give them some wealth. Empower the people that are already here, with education, with a job and different things, gainful employment, and et cetera like that, Just in time, are you there?
What's up, One Iam?
Oh, man, nothing's happening, everything's cool.
Oh, well, you ain't never going to get the man to protect the people no matter who they are, but I had to laugh at...
The man's protecting some of the people. there's some areas in Detroit, like I said, they're safer than most other places in the country. It just depends on, whether or not they've ran their program back that far. They're coming from downtown down through Midtown, spreading out through the new center area. Okay, and that's where the area is the safest in Detroit City, and they're buying white residents. They're offering them all kinds of money to come back into the city. We'll give you $20,000, $25,000 if you come back, and they're protecting them because when you buying residents at that rate and they're coming in, you want them protected. You feel like you have to protect your investment when you're spending money on people. So the people that actually have been here for years and years and years, they don't get the police protection and et cetera. The ones that are coming in new that they just bought for $25,000, they're the ones that's getting the police protection and et cetera.
Well, doggone, maybe I ought to move back there then.
Yeah, you move back here, you can go into one of the downtown area, midtown area. It's the bomb, man. You got
$25,000. That's all.
They give you $25,000 to buy a house down here, and or if you come and get an apartment, they'll give you a couple $1,000s on the rent.
No shit.
I'm serious. Yeah, they suburbanites only now. Got to be a suburbanite, or you got to be a cop that don't live in the city. If you're a cop that doesn't live in the city, they got a cop that didn't live in the city right around the corner here from where I live. They bought a house for like $20,000. Then they spent $160,000 renovating the house. They put new windows in, new roof. They put new furnaces. They put granite countertops in the kitchen cabinets. They put everything, new water heater, new electricity, new plumbing, built a new garage, new fence around the place. I mean, new everything, man. Revamped it. They spent $160,000 revamping the place. And then they sold it to the suburbanite cop for $50,000. Okay, after a $170,000 investment, $180,000 investment. Okay, they gave it to him for $50,000, and then the bank, okay, gave him a $25,000 forgivable loan if he'll stay there for 2 or 3 years or whatever. Then, so he's basically into the house for $25,000. Okay, yeah.
Oh no! What caught me?
Are we any safer because that guy's in his house watching football games? You know what I'm saying? And this is what they've done with federal funds that were supposed to be used for the poor citizens of the city of Detroit.
You know what, brother? I pray for you because that media's got your head so programmed, so wound in. I chuckled at what Debbie said because it reminded me of a story out here in Southern California where there's one part of the beach, a nasty old place, got garbage everywhere, and just people don't care. And there were about 400 or 500 people that got together after a council meeting and went down and with trash bags and actually just picked up on this beach. It looked way better afterwards. Like Debbie was saying, and a couple, 3 or 4 ladies were talking about it, getting some news down there. And one of the ladies said, "Oh, they'll never show up." So one of the 4 ladies, she called up 3 media stations and told them there had been a killing down on the beach where they were cleaning up the beach.
Right.
There were 3 television news crews down there in like 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And they said, "Is there a shooting around here?" Or "Oh, no. No, shooting? No, we didn't hear anything. We're cleaning up the beach, so that would make great news for that." They left.
Right.
They left in 3 minutes.
There it is. Well, that kind of shows you their agenda, right?
That's right. That's why you got to quit watching that, brother.
Well,
take a sledgehammer through that television.
Yeah, you got to be hip to the game, man. That's all. And the game is urban renewal, Negro removal. They pushing you back, and opening up areas for other people to come in. Okay. And hey, there's nothing new about the way they do this. There's nothing new. It's been done before. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I would just like to see a new model take place where you actually take into account the people that are already there, and instead of moving them out, and you find some way for them to continue to be there. You know, you
Yes.
include them in the process.
Yeah, it's crazy. It depends on whether all the people want to get involved. I was sitting there. I had a bunch of links saved up over stories I read, and I think the last one I put up there had some numbers through the years, like through 2001 or something. But the crime in Los Angeles County alone has gone down and dipped down like 200 per year after they started all this neighborhood watch program that the city council put together, and people are actually getting involved. They know the people around them, their neighbors.
Right.
But maybe just by looking out the window while you're sitting at the dinner table, and if they see somebody they don't recognize, they kind of watch, or they'll call the police.
Right.
But the murders have gone way down. And I don't know. They might be going somewhere else. Maybe they're out in the valley now shooting people.
I don't know. I'm glad to hear that, though, that the murders have went down.
Well, and since they started this neighborhood watch thing, there's there's such a high population here anywhere. There's just too many people watching.
Yeah. We have the same thing going here in Detroit. We have... in my neighborhood alone, we have 2 private security companies that patrol the streets. Okay, I pay for one of them. Me and the other neighbors. Yeah, private security. Then we have also a citizens patrol where they're on, cell phones and CB type thing. The citizen patrol was out there, and
that's good. That's good.
And we're hoping the cops are out there too, as well.
Well, they got that in all communities in Detroit. They got it in Victoria Park. They got it in Grosse Pointe. They got it in West Bloom. They got it in Livonia. Certain areas, Farmington Hills. The first thing you see is that these prices are, so it's not an isolated Detroit
neighborhood watch?
Yeah, they got neighborhood watch everywhere, man.
Well,
it's not just Detroit.
I see neighborhood watch signs a lot of places, but a lot of times you don't actually have a watch up and running.
In the state of Michigan, there are 500 licensed radio patrols.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And this lady was running for office?
Huh?
You were running for office? I didn't know that.
Well, yeah, I was running for the office.
She ran to be on the board of our community association here.
That's where it's got to start, at the bottom.
I'm not just going to talk about it. I'm going to be about it. I'm not going to sit around and complain. I'm going to go out here and see if I can make a difference.
There you go.
I'm just tired of people complaining all the time and ain't doing nothing.
As a matter of fact, she just got through with the CB
I
patrol.
just finished the radio patrol. Let me tell you this. I serve on the radio patrol. I serve on the concerts because we give concerts in our area where we bring in artists and we have concerts and we put a house on display either inside or outside, offer a meal. I also serve now I'm on the Boston Edison board. I also serve on, what else I do? I'm on about 5 committees over here.
You're on the beautification committee.
I'm on the beautification committee. We just had Motor City Makeover, and we had put dumpsters out and let everybody just throw their bulk stuff away in the dumpsters rather than throwing it away in the city streets.
Yeah.
So I'm just into moving the city positive, getting it clean. I go out and I talk to young adults. I just feel like people need to start going back to their communities and try to see what you could do to make a difference.
Yeah, because you'll be surprised. I noticed the first city council meeting I went down to. I felt like kind of a stranger. I didn't know anybody in there, but after I walked out that night, I felt different. I not so much I felt good about myself, but I just felt good. And the next city council meeting, I recognized a few of the people that I'd seen at the first one, and it kind of grows like a family, just like the chat room in here, and that's what people need to do. If you're not going to do anything federal wise, it's too big, it's too far away from you. You need to start in your local area where you live. We even, and you got to fight though, because sometimes everything's going to get knocked down like a house of cards. We, on the city council, we talked them into, they wanted to spend $500,000 for what? They were going to change the crosswalk signals. You know, you usually got a white hand and a red man saying don't walk.
Yeah.
They wanted to change them where they had seconds counting down till the light turned red.
Oh, I've seen that in several
$400,000.
places, but people don't pay attention to that.
That's right, and we blocked it. And then this new mayor came in and put them up. I'll let you go. I just wanted to say keep up with the hard work, guys.
Okay, thank you, just in time.
Have a great night.
Kevin Allan.
One Iam.
What's happening, my brother? How are you?
Well, I'm good. I'm sorry I'm running late. I meant to catch your whole show, and I just tuned in maybe 5 or 10 minutes ago, you know.
Okay, yeah, we did mention you. I was expecting you about 8-ish, round in there, and I wanted to get in and talk to you a little bit about what's going on in your life, what you've been doing. You've been such a big part of Revolution Radio in the beginning and everything. Powerful voice on the station. One of the voices that I used to watch and try to emulate and everything, you know, so I could be as good.
No, you are the master debater. I really like catching you, and especially when you and Debbie work together, because you can work together or you can do your own thing side by side. It's nice. It's a good team.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I've been busy, you know. I did, you know, start my own station for a few months, but it was really exhausting, and to manage it and run a business, then I wasn't doing anything as far as my advocacy that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I wasn't seeing the results. Sometimes the listener numbers are misconstrued, and they seem bigger than they are. And when I really put the numbers together and saw how many people I was reaching, it was wasted time as far as I'm concerned. Because in a lot less time, I can put a YouTube video out and a lot of people see it. I mean, I did one a couple weeks ago. It's close to 10,000 views. There was one 4 or 5 months ago that's over 100,000 views. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, and I didn't feel like I was getting the same effect. So the focus is on that and doing stuff. Although I didn't put the tool belt on, I'm working with my hands in wood again and building some stuff.
Okay, yeah, I noticed you were building like chicken coops and different things like that.
Yeah, who knew that there would actually be a market for that?
Right.
We've sold a lot of them, and I just got done building the solar dehydrator, which I tested the other day and worked great.
You know what? I saw that gate that you built on the back of the pickup truck too, where you said you had chiseled it out without a chisel.
Yeah. And I did. I bought a chisel the next day, you know.
Yeah, man, you're a great carpenter, man.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I put pride in my work. You know, and I don't like, even if it's something I don't like building temporary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if it's going to be temporary.
Right.
It's going to be built. But no, the rack was a permanent thing. And, you know, we've been needing it for a while. And then came the opportunity to get this donkey that needed a home. You know,
right.
One of the things was trying to build this into the farm situation. So what's better than an animal that needs a home that if you take care of it can do some work without buying gasoline?
Amen.
You know, and it's great. I mean, there's 4 kids here, my 3, and the other boy, Shannon's son, Ryan, who's away for the summer, but nevertheless, having an animal, it's great. He's already feeling comfortable, and the kids have taken some time to ride him. You know, that's stuff. That's real living. I don't care. But there's still not a lot of time in the day, but the fact that you even had 10 or 15 minutes to do that, it's really getting back to basics, you know.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man.
It is. You know, I enjoy it. You know, so that's good. And yeah, we're just plugging away the balance of the YouTube revenue and the work by hand is we're starting to get somewhere. So, and I mean, YouTube's no big money, but it's something. You know,
you still got that big Twitter account though, right?
Big Twitter account, yeah, over 70,000 followers now, and that's still growing daily, you know. And so, yeah, it's and the YouTube may turn into something big. I mean, it was averaging like $3 a day with a couple of hours a day effort. That's no big money, but when you're doing it during your quiet time, you're drinking coffee, you're just sitting on your ass anyway, rather than taking in CNN or Fox News.
Right.
You know, I can put out something positive, and then at the end of the month, there's some money there. That's good stuff.
Right.
This month, it took a big jump this month. It doubled. It's averaging $7 a day.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Come July, just before the 4th of July, there's going to be a couple $100 to do something with the kids on the holiday that wouldn't have been there.
Right.
You know, and most of that was done just after they leave school, while the day is warming up and the fog is burning off, before I go do the other stuff that I do. So it's not like I'm taking any real time.
Right.
So that's positive. Yeah, things are going well. But
Okay.
I heard Debbie, I think, you know, what are you doing to give back? And that was another part of the reason I stopped doing the radio, because I was focusing on everybody else's needs, you know, because it was designed to be a business. And so a lot of the things I wanted to do to give back were going undone.
Right.
And the time with my kids was going undone. So I shut it down. I'm actually, as soon as I get to the editing, the domain and the Twitter account that goes with it and the broadcasting license will be sold as kind of a package thing, just to recoup the money I put in. And actually, I'll probably take a loss on it just to help somebody out and have it gone, because I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to put the radio back on.
Yeah.
It's not effective for me. It's great. I listen to it, you know.
Yeah.
I listened in earlier to Rad Chick on the Orion Network, and they're great, just doing a lot to keep everybody awake on the Fukushima deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I noticed you still on the Fukushima thing big time too, and everybody shouldn't forget about that.
Yeah, I try to be every day, because it's at a critical point right now. Everybody thinks, you know, oh, it's all this time, it's fine. It's not fine. It's worse than when it started, actually.
Yeah.
You know, but I actually I was encouraged by listening into Rad Chick today, because one of their guests, or a pre-recorded show, was talking about some radio wave technology. I'm picturing it similar to HARP that could be used around Fukushima, and using radio waves in some fashion to stop the strontium from escaping the area.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about it. And I'm like, that's a great idea, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there's some positive in it, but I just don't. It's a thorn in my side. People need to get off their ass. If the reactor 3 or 4 crumbles like they could, it's dry, the northern hemisphere is going to see a mass population and animal and everything else wipe out. So, I mean, we have to handle this.
Amen.
Well, they got so much else going on that they, you know, in the United States, that they just been taking people off of the things that, as I keep saying, that they need to concentrate on.
Yes, they do.
They make killings more important than what's going on, so they can mask it, so they can understand. So you know, your mind just strays from things that you should still be thinking about.
Major things.
Like I wear my T-shirt that says, you know, I got a T-shirt that says, "We have forgotten about Haiti." You know what I'm saying? We forgot all about those people exist, but guess what? Things have not gotten better over there for those people. We forgot about the people in Japan. We forgot about everything. You understand what I'm saying? We've actually forgotten about the people in Katrina, and it's still not 100%.
Forgot about the people in Detroit, okay?
They mask it with all this killing and just come bombarding you with all the information that's going on, and they just really, that stuff gets further and further and further pushed down the line until it's just all forgotten again.
Yeah,
you're right. And what I noticed too is, among the activists, everybody has their cause, and we are so spun out. You almost can't comprehend or grab a hold of everything that's going on and make people awake for it. So I understand being specialized, but that also causes separation and a blindness. You know, if you're a chemtrail specialist and that's your focus, there's so much disinformation and research needed that you're all consumed. And so you know all about chemtrails and you're waking people up. But you don't understand that you just died because you were radiated.
Yeah.
And so a few other activists had the same idea. And there's also this big separation between anonymous hacktivists and the general public. They're trying to create that fear so that you don't assist. They're also trying to convince you that it's totally a government operation, so you don't assist if you're anti-government. And there's this whole division. So on Twitter, if you're there, you can search Stop the Bullshit. And a bunch of us put that together. I'm actually hosting it on my website. And that's sponsored by Hacks Radio. It's designed to bring all of these activists together, all the people that are doing their thing and fighting their causes, to just share information and start waking each other up, even though you're already awake, And then because the skills you have when I am in your cause, some part of that is equal or the same as mine, even though we're totally different. So when we come together, we use those couple little things that we each have, and we both do a little better.
Amen.
That's the idea. So if anybody's on Twitter, please search and use that hashtag. And whenever you have photos, videos, or real information, backed up by a link, tag it with that Stop Bullshit. And that's really taken on some steam. The website's seeing a lot of visitors chatting, exchanging some stuff.
Okay, you still have masterofmanythings.com going, right?
Yes, yeah, and that's going to be my focus, and I just bumped that up. It's a simple site, still the easy, cheesy, GoDaddy, do-it-yourselfer thing that I can manage, but last month it bumped up to just, it doubled in size, and as far as page count, and I think next month probably will bump up again because I'm seeing enough. It's paying for itself, and it's like I put in 10, and it's making 35 a month. Now, I'm not going to tell you how many hours I got into it.
Yeah.
Working for a penny and a half an hour, Kevin. That's not the point. It's to do what I want to do to help people, wake them up in the way I can, and also generate a little income. I don't care if it takes 6 hours and I end up with $1 at the end of the month that I didn't have. Those 6 hours are spread out like now, in between getting the kids into the shower or whatever else has to be done. It's really no time. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to buy any gas.
Right.
And it's not cash in hand, so it's kind of putting something away, and then how it is the end of the month, you got a bill you forgot about.
Amen.
It's nice to have another bill, $100 bill that is coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. We're humble. We know how to live simple. We don't need money.
Yeah, but now you moved a couple of times, right?
Yeah, well, we were in Lebanon, after we had moved out of Mike's place and got on our own, but there's just no work there. And quite honestly, after talking to the local police, it seems that area has had a big influx of people from out of the area, and they don't respond well. They don't want any more people there, and they don't like the ones that have come.
Yeah.
There is no work,
Yeah.
And so it was struggled to get work or make any money. And it wasn't the place I should be, I guess, because it didn't work out. But it's comfortable out here. We're about an hour and a half west of where I was.
Yeah.
And nice. There's some animals for the kids, and there's work. And
you're out with that Kentucky bluegrass.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm sticking to the green grass.
Yeah. I hear you.
That blue color is a little too high test for me,
Yeah.
What's wrong with the Kentucky bluegrass?
Grass is fine here, Debbie. Just try, that's fine. That's fine. And I'm curious, when I had realized that Detroit, I heard mentioned, I sent you the information, I think, or the heads up that your area has the same style reactors as Fukushima.
Exactly.
Did you I didn't spend any more time on that, but have you, is that in your backyard? I mean, what, are you safe?
I haven't dug into it yet. We got like the Fermi nuclear plant around here, and
that's kind of far from us.
Things like that, but you would think it was far, but it's really not that far when you're talking about nuclear reactors.
Well, I'm saying it's not like it's right next door to us.
Right. Yeah. But I'm going to dig into that.
Yeah, the Mach 1, GE Mach 1 reactor is the one that, there's a design flaw. And that's, although no nuclear reactor is nice and you don't want it near them, they're there, but it would be nice, to know which ones they are, because in an emergency, those are going to be the first ones to fail.
Yeah.
You know, it's just good to know what's around you, I guess.
Amen. All right. I'm going to look into that and possibly do a little bit of a show on that, nuclear reactors around the city of Detroit. I remember Gil Scott-Heron, he had a record. We almost lost Detroit. And it was about a nuclear accident, that nearly happened here near Detroit. And
you're going to be saying that again after the election. Damn, we almost.
Yeah. Right. Well, so it's great hearing from you again, my brother.
You as well. I'm glad I got to stop by, and good to hear from you again, Debbie. I'll then jump out and try to listen in for the rest of the show. I think I'm done for the day for the most part. So.
All right.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
It's my pleasure when I am. We'll talk again.
All right. Bye-bye. And that was Kevin Allan, the master of many things. Like I said, it was a big part of Revolution Radio, in the beginning here, and was like a powerful voice here. As a matter of fact, he was the main voice at the radio station at one time and was doing a lot of the commercials and et cetera. And he did a wonderful job, when he was here. Like I used to try to emulate him and Tim Dolger. Because, they had strong, powerful voices. They were relaxed, speaking into the microphone and everything. So I'm like, I got to get like these guys, and just have a conversation with this mic. You feel me? I took notes, basically. And, I'm happy with the results,
Really now?
Yeah. You are listening to Urban Revolution on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. My name is One Iam. I am the host, and on my right hand is my co-host, Miss Debbie, and you've been hearing from her tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? I got some more stories that I want to run through.
I hope they're positive.
Let me remind you that this is listener-supported radio, everybody. And, we appreciate it when you hit that donate button and donate $1, $2, $5, sponsor a show. We got some good shows. I tell you what, I like Pulling Back the Curtain on Sundays and everything. That's a good show. You get you a cup of coffee, sit back and, cruise the internet and everything and just listen to that show. Open up freedomslips.com on one screen, open up a couple more screens and cruise the internet, reading and relaxing, maxing while you listen to Pulling Back the Curtain on Sundays.
Is that music?
It's a good show. No, they talk about it's Joseph Atwill, and they talk about the Christianity, and how it was started. And, different things like that. How it's a man-made deal. You know what I'm saying? By the powers that be, that basically, trying to shake the people down and et cetera. But check them out. You might learn something and be able to free yourself from the God spell or the gospel. God spell, gospel. You understand? Free yourself from the God spell. Anyway, like I said, I wanted to hit a couple more stories right quick. And one story is the serial stabbing suspect. He's been found guilty of murder. You remember the guy, a man suspected of fatally stabbing 5 men and wounding 9 others in and around Flint 2 summers ago, was convicted Tuesday of first-degree murder in the first case to go to trial. Okay, they put him on trial for murder, and he was convicted of murder in the first case. But he stabbed several people, killed 5, and wounded 9 others. And I'm telling you, the wounds, they say he wounded 9 others. He cut them pretty good, because I seen the stitches on some of those guys. And I mean, they cut from the rooter to the tutor. You feel me? Jurors rejected the insanity defense put forth for Elias. I don't know. It's like an Arab name. Abulazam. Finding him guilty of stabbing 49-year-old Arna Minor in August 2010 and leaving him to bleed to death after midnight on a Flint street. He faces life in prison without parole for that murder alone, but he's also charged in the other murders, some of the other murders. Some of the stabbings they're not charging him with, because after you get so many murders on a guy and assaults and etc., it's sort of like overkill to keep putting them on the guy. I guess, I don't know, but it's like he ain't getting out anyway, Yeah, this is the same guy that did a lot of stabbings in the Flint area, and then he went to Virginia and did a couple stabbings, and he tried to get out of the country after doing some of these stabbings down in Atlanta, and they caught him like trying to board a flight to Israel a couple years ago. But he figured he could just stab people and cut all the way across the country and then take a plane to Israel and he'd be all right. Okay, well, it didn't work out for him, and he's pretty much been in prison. I did see where some of the guards, had punched him out or something, about something, but because he didn't know the rules in prison, and the rules are you don't run anything in prison. Once you get there, they let you know immediately, the authorities and etc., that they in charge, and you don't have any choices in anything in what they're asking you to do. Okay, you better do it like right away. But I'm glad he's been convicted of that. His lawyer put up an insanity plea and everything. I don't know if he was crazy or not, but they said from all the planning and et cetera that he did, he demonstrated that he wasn't exactly crazy, and, trying to get out of the country and everything. This wasn't a mad guy. It's just a bad guy that got caught. His planning was a little weak. So he's been convicted. Amen. Another story. Gangs started a Mississippi prison riot. Okay, and you know how I'm always on the prisons and everything, because they go in prisons for profit. They're slaving a bunch of people. The industries and everything, the corporations are all up in the prisons and everything, getting products made. They got people on the phone in prison in cubicles, telemarketing and everything else. You know what I'm saying? So, and, these prisons and et cetera, on the stock market, you can buy in, make money. They're there for profit and et cetera. So, I don't like the way they do law enforcement, and target it at certain communities and not at others. So until everything gets fair and balanced, I'm going to have a problem with law enforcement and the prison situation. But anyway, a sheriff says, this is in Mississippi, a prison riot. A sheriff says gang activity caused a riot that killed a guard and injured 19 people at a privately run prison in Mississippi that holds illegal immigrants. Okay? So they got a privately run prison where they're grabbing what they call illegal immigrants and throwing them up into prison. I guess they're supposed to be there until they get deported or whatever. I don't know. Or whether they just hold them without, how they just hold you indefinitely. I don't know what's going on. But the sheriff says gang activity caused it. And I can tell you, right, why would gang activity, why would they kill a guard, okay, for some gang activity? If two gangs were going at it or whatever, okay? Generally, when these prison riots and et cetera start like this, it's due to conditions. Debbie, are you beating up on something out there? is due to conditions in the prison where people just explode. It's just like riots and et cetera in the cities, where you just can't take the pressure no more and everything blows over. Okay. Adams County Sheriff Chuck Mayfield said Monday the slain guard was beaten to death by inmates on the roof of one of the buildings on Sunday. Is that right? Yep, that's what it says. Like they beat the guard to death on the roof of one of the buildings on Sunday. Why? That's church day. Wasn't they supposed to be going to church or something? Mayfield says as many as 300 inmates were involved, and some were armed with makeshift weapons, such as broom handles and etc. Yeah, you get a broom handle, you break it in half or whatever. And, you got you a nice little sword there or whatever. The prison in southwest Mississippi remained on lockdown Monday. Officials were assessing damage to the facility, and it's owned by Nashville, Tennessee-based Corrections Corporation of America. That's one of the prison for-profit joints, Corrections Corporation. It's a 2,500-bed prison near Natchez. It houses illegal immigrants, most of whom re-entered the U.S. after being deported. Most of these guys, they say, were deported before and turned around and came back. And they arrested them again and put them into this prison, 2,500 bed. Now that don't mean nothing because they said it's a 2,500 bed prison. They might have 5,000 illegal immigrants in it with 2,500 beds and everybody kind of playing musical beds. You feel me? Yeah. And that's one story that I wanted to get into. I wanted to tell you a little bit more about George Zimmerman, the guy who shot Trayvon Martin, the teenager. That's a story that I've been watching and keeping an eye on. And they dropped a whole bunch of evidence, to the public and everything to look at and et cetera here this past week. And it appears that Zimmerman was on drugs that has violent side effects when he killed Trayvon. While the mainstream media made sure to report with exclamations and gasps that marijuana was found in Trayvon Martin's system on the night that he was killed, many outlets failed to also report that the level was well beyond what medical studies show caused performance impairment. So, it was below, the level that would have made Trayvon Martin, impaired in any way. Whatever marijuana traces they found in his system that night. Of course, they didn't test Zimmerman at all for anything. Marijuana, cocaine, no kinds of drugs at all that night. But, the same cannot be said for George Zimmerman. According to the paramedic report, the vigilante neighborhood watch captain was on a prescription drug called Tezmapam. Tezmapam. This is being reported by MSNBC.com. Tezmapam, also known as Restoral, is known to cause insomnia and anxiety. And let me see, something else that it causes too. According to the U.S. National Library of Medicine, the drug is also known to cause aggressiveness and hallucinations, among other problematic symptoms, So, if he was taking this drug, it's just possible that the drug may have pushed him into being a little more aggressive than he normally would be if he was not taking the drug. I don't know. But according to some of the side effects of the drug, yeah. You have insomnia, like can't sleep and be aggressive. maybe even have hallucinations, like these assholes always get away. You feel me? You know, I'm just saying, this is what they're saying. Also in the George Zimmerman case, you had two prominent U.S. lawyers were among the skeptics questioning whether evidence in the shooting of death of Trayvon Martin supports the second-degree murder charge against George Zimmerman, given the confessed shooter's apparent injuries and his freshly released eyewitness accounts. There is no second-degree evidence in this case, Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz said. It's a very close case. I don't know how much faith you can put into what Alan Dershowitz is saying. You know, he's one of them guys on the other side of the line, if you ask me. Details released in the past week add to the picture of what might have transpired on that rainy February the 26th, before Zimmerman, a neighborhood watch captain in the Sanford, Florida community, where Martin was staying with his father's fiancée, shot the teen dead. Previously unknown particulars, including the scrape on Martin's knuckle and photos of Zimmerman's battered and swollen face. And I did see, his head in the back. There was a cut and, blood and stuff, dried blood and etc. around that cut and down his back, maybe. These photos, which were taken moments after he shot and killed Martin in what he says was self-defense, coupled with eyewitness accounts that back up Zimmerman's story. They suggest for some that the prosecution overreached. So that basically, I guess they got one witness that says they saw Trayvon Martin, on top of George Zimmerman in sort of like a mixed martial arts, had him in a full guard, a full whatever, and was pouring down punches up on him, raining down punches on him, according to one of the witnesses, okay? Which I'm not saying he didn't. I'm saying at some point, Trayvon Martin had to stand his ground because it looks like George Zimmerman was very aggressive in chasing down Trayvon Martin. And I'm sure he did initiate, some kind of contact with Trayvon Martin. And Trayvon Martin is a young man, although we call him a teen, 17. He's a young man, and we teach our young men to defend themselves when they're being attacked by unknown people. Just coming out of nowhere, chasing you down and etc. And if he's starting to push you and attack you, then you have to defend yourself to the best of your ability, which at some point it looks like, he lost that defense and started screaming for help and ended up shot anyway. But it looks like Trayvon Martin stood his ground and lost to me. So we'll see what happens when they take it to court. But, there's a lot of stuff that came out in the evidence package, but all the evidence didn't come out. So, Alan Dershowitz can't really voice his opinion on everything based on the evidence if he does not have all the evidence. You know what I'm saying? I don't have all the evidence and etc. I'm just saying what I've heard. I'm not a lawyer and etc. And from just looking at that situation from when we first heard about it and everything that came out, the telephone calls, all the other evidence that came out, just looking at it, to me, Trayvon Martin might have stood his ground and lost, okay, from a really aggressive guy bad thoughts about him in the first place, and he lost. And Alan Dershowitz, hey, who knows? Who knows where he's coming from? Debbie, any comments?
No.
That story has been beat down too much.
I'm tired of that story. It's like beating a dead horse.
I wouldn't be tired of the story. It's
Well, I'm just saying I'm tired of the story because you know why? It's not getting anything solved, and the only thing it's doing is, the more y'all put it out there like that, the more it seems like they putting out a story just to get Mr. Zimmerman off. So if you give no credence to it and no thought to it, maybe he won't get off. But y'all, they're pumping it up and everybody's like, oh yeah, and they even got a Facebook page now, okay?
Yeah.
Where you can go in there and post why you think George Zimmerman ain't guilty. Okay, so, that's all I'm saying is it's just got too much credence that it's really taken away from a young man that has lost his life. And the real reason why he's lost his life. And technically, I really don't, I'm sorry, maybe it's just me, and maybe I should put on my t-shirts, I don't give a rat's behind, because I don't give a rat's behind what they're saying, because this young man lost his life because someone went out after they were told to stay in the house, which to me is grounds enough for him to be under the court.
Well, they were told not to follow him anyway.
Right. And then they want to say that, whatever happened, I'm just tired of the credence. Give it to the story because it's going to end up, guess what? The George Zimmerman is not going to do a day. He's already out free, walking around. You don't even know where he at. He might be in Mexico by now.
He might be next door, for all I know.
You know what I'm saying? So, I'm just...
I know he didn't come through my front door.
Certain things that you just need to cut off because guess what? I bet you it's going to be 2 years for that case to even really come up. And by then, let me tell you, my mama probably be testifying saying she's seen him walking down the street and he was such a good person according to the news.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna keep hitting it, from time to time until it finally does come out and we get some kind of a verdict on what really happened and what went down.
Man, do you really need a verdict? The verdict has already been read, but they just trying to get around that verdict being served, okay? The verdict has already been read. The day he left his house and hunted that man down with a gun, the verdict was read.
Okay. I feel you.
So now all this other stuff is just a smoke screen for George Zimmerman not to do a day.
This is the USA, baby. This is the justice system.
Well, that's why I'm tired of the
story. This justice system is not about whether you're guilty or whether you're innocent. It's about can you win. You know what I'm saying? You could murder 15 people, but can you say I'm not guilty and win? That's what counts. Okay? And if you got good money, good lawyers, this and that, maybe you can win. You feel me? Maybe you could buy a couple jurors and still win. You feel me?
I understand that. I'm just saying,
it ain't TV. This is the real deal.
And I know this. Now it goes to what he had in his system. Oh, he had marijuana in his system. Okay, marijuana can stay in your system for up to 6 months.
Well, it wasn't enough marijuana
But I'm just saying, why is that? Why is it even irrelevant? Why is it relevant? Did you test him? If you according to this, he had downers. How much did he have in his system? I mean, come on. If you want to be fair, let's just put the scales out here and make it even. Let's put some heavy dice on this part, and let's put some heavy dice on this, so we can see if it all balances out. I'm just tired of just half judgments.
That's not the way it works. That's not the way everything works.
Well, to me, that's the way it should work.
Well, we know how it should work, in a heavenly society and everything. But, this is not that situation, baby. This is the USA, baby. This is dog eat dog, okay? This is where we are, okay? If they can win, they're going to win, no matter what happened, all right? If you can walk away, I guess they feel like, what good is it going to do for have George Zimmerman sitting up in prison now for 100 years? You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, if you can win, get away with it, and then, do something of a positive nature to make up for it later on in life. You feel me?
They said O.J. paid high dollars for his team, and then he went free. Well, he really didn't go free.
OJ did win free. He won, but then they came after him with this. There's all kind of loopholes and this, that, and the other. They came after him with the civil judgment, with the civil suit in court. Took all of his money and everything. Started taking his money and all that.
So he really didn't win.
And then they set him up. They stole stuff out of his house and then set him up in Las Vegas. Had cameras in the room. Had recording devices and everything. Brought OJ over there and told him, yeah, man, they got your stuff, man. I know where they at. And then when he got there, they filmed everything, recorded everything, took it to court and everything, got OJ after all. They didn't get OJ for what he did in the building and everything. They got OJ because they thought he was guilty of murder. Okay? And he had got away with murder according to the system and the way the system runs. You got innocent people. I just seen where an innocent man was put to death in Texas not too long ago, like in 89. Was put to death in Texas. They laid him down and put him to death in Texas, and he didn't do it. Okay? But you know what he did do? He went to court and he lost. That's all you got to do is go to court and lose. Okay? Now, if you can win, if you did do it, you're going to walk. Amen. That's the way it works. So, get you some prepaid legal or save up your money. Okay? Because this is not about justice and innocence and all that kind of stuff. And you getting any fair treatment. Real deal. Also, right quick, I wanted to tell you that the Detroit Council, the City Council, has put a halt to the action on the consent agreement, and they're citing a possible legal challenge. So the consent agreement and everything that the governor basically forced the mayor and the City Council to sign on to, like either you sign this agreement, or I'm going to send this monster down here in the city, which we call an emergency manager, and he gonna sell everything and fire everybody. Okay, and you won't have a job, the mayor won't have a job, and he got to get out of the mansion. Okay, the city council won't have a job, and they got to get out of the city county building. Either you sign this agreement, the consent agreement, or I'm gonna send the monster in. So the city council choked and everything, and they, not 4 of them. 4 of them didn't, but 5 of them did.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
I
love my Joanne Watson.
That's my Joanne Watson.
I love my Joanne Watson.
Love my Joanne Watson.
That's right.
That's right. Wake up, Detroit.
That's right. Wake up, Detroit.
Okay, she didn't choke, and she's challenging this. Basically, it's not really her, but she did put up the challenge to the legality of a consent agreement. You signing a consent agreement when the governor in the state of Michigan owes Detroit all kinds of money, which is against the city charter to even do that kind of a thing, they say. So, Council President Charles Pugh said he's following the lawyer's advice, Crittenton's advice, not to move forward until the matter is resolved legally about whether or not the agreement is legal or not.
That's my girl. That's Crystal. She out fighting for the people. You know her.
Oh, Crittenton?
Yeah, you know her. That's my good friend.
And a majority of his colleagues agreed, on the city council that we shouldn't be picking directors and all this kind of stuff if the agreement is illegal. And we need to find out whether or not this agreement is illegal.
Well, the agreement should have been made illegal because they had enough signatures for it not to be even implemented.
Yeah, well, that was enough signatures.
By the people.
They could have challenged the emergency manager thing and put it on a ballot.
Right.
By the signatures. They took that and made it like the print on the
right. They used any excuse
the
they
print
could.
on the petition wasn't big enough. So we don't know if we can take
the font size.
The font size wasn't big enough, so we don't know if we can take all these signatures. You know what I'm saying? These is the kind of games, baby, that be played. But listen, I'm telling you, it's dog eat dog. It's a rough world out here. You feel me? But we can play the game. It ain't no big deal. And here we go. Like I said, the whole deal, the consent agreement and everything is on hold as far as them picking directors and everything to run the finances in Detroit City. The city council said they're not picking no directors, and they have 2 picks out of 9. Okay? I guess 6 have already been picked by the governor and maybe Dave Beam and et cetera of these directors. But things are being held up right now.
And I'm happy they are.
To question the legality. Now, Gary Brown, pro tem, he wants to continue, and is trying to get everybody to keep going and to make the picks for the Financial Advisory Board. I don't know why you want to pick people and start paying them only to find out that the whole agreement is illegal.
Well, he got millions of Detroit's money anyway, so it doesn't really matter to him.
Yeah, he got paid and everything, and he's still getting paid, I believe. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not working in the interest of Detroiters.
Right.
Okay. You have been listening to Urban Revolution on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Again, I want to say congratulations to all the graduates out there. Vladimir Holmes, Dante Womack, all these people that's graduating this year. Congratulations. Keep on doing positive things in the city, and positive things will come out of it.
Amen. And we'll be seeing you next week on Urban Revolution.
Listening to Revolution Radio.